I invite you to breathe in, take in a deep breath. Take in a big deep breath. Fill yourself up from head to toe, from fingertip to fingertip. The depth and breadth and height and width of your whole body. Fill it up. And hold it for a moment once you've filled it up. And then breathe it out. And I'm going to ask you to do that 3 times on your own right now. You're going to breathe in. You're going to fill yourself up so full that you can't possibly take in another ounce, another milliliter, tiny little bit of air. Breathe in so that there's no more for you to breathe in. And fill yourself up. Your whole body, your heart, your mind, your spirit, your emotional self. Fill it up so you feel it. And once you have it filled up and you can't hold it anymore, slowly release it and let it go. And now do 2 more on your own. Now imagine that when you breathe in that much, and keep breathing regularly for a few minutes as I'm sharing this, and just imagine that when you do that with the breath, that as you breathe in and you fill yourself up, see if you can feel the enoughness of that experience. There's enough air. There's enough oxygen for you to breathe it in. And then there's so much, like it's overflowing. And so you let it go because you can't hold it all anymore. And you breathe it out. And what happens when you breathe it out? When you breathe it out, it goes into the universe. And what happens? The trees breathe it in or take it in as carbon dioxide. And they fill themselves up. And if they become overfull, or they notice their neighboring trees, their friends, lacking enoughness, needing more air, needing more light, they send that energy through their roots to the other trees that are in need. And then it comes out again, because there's always enough. And then we get it, and we breathe it in again. And we breathe it in again, and we fill it up, and we hold it, and then we breathe it out, because we have enough. We have so much, we have more than enough, and so we breathe it out, and it goes out. And I know there's people who struggle with asthma or maybe are recovering from an illness, and maybe it feels like there's not enough, so you have to breathe more frequently, you have to take it in more frequently, and yet still. And then that can happen too, and you can get as much as you can for that moment, and still there's excess that you have to breathe out. So you can breathe back in. You have to release some of the excess so you can breathe back in, take more in. So now I'm going to ask you to do a few breaths with that image in your mind, that you're breathing in the air and you're transforming it into usable oxygen, and you're holding it for a moment, maybe for a couple counts of 2 or 3, whatever you're comfortable and capable of doing. And then you breathe out the excess, and then you know that the trees are breathing it in, they're taking it in. It's carbon dioxide, and they're sharing it and breathing it out. And there's this exquisite cycle of enoughness, of giving and receiving. And imagine as you're doing this breathing work for a couple minutes, that you have enough and that you are enough. And so breathe with this beautiful image, breathing in enoughness. You can even say, as I breathe in, I have enough. As I breathe out, I am enough. As I breathe in, I have and am enough. As I breathe out, I give back. However mantra works for you, or just focus on the breath, breathing in and out like that. And let's do that for a minute or two. But also think, breathing in, I receive and am enough. Breathing out, gratitude, I give back. Breathing in, I am and receive enough. Breathing out, I give back. And now, let's just imagine for a moment, or a few moments even, that this experience of enoughness and then giving back when we can't take in any more, and that this experience that we have with air and oxygen and breath is something that we could actually do with other resources that we have, with our money, with our material possessions. With our love. Imagine knowing that you can always access enoughness. And so then you can release and give back when you have more than enough. And give it back and know that when you need some more, you just call it in with breath, with vision, imagination. And then you receive. And when you have received enough, you give back. In this beautiful cycle of giving and receiving that we witness and experience, that we witness and experience every moment without even being aware of it, without consciously paying attention to it. But every moment, every few seconds, we're breathing in enough. And then we're releasing and giving back because we've received enough. And so we don't have to cling to it and gasp for it. We can let it out. And even if we gasp for it, even if we hold it because it's hard for us to breathe, we're not sure we're going to get another breath. You can't hold it that long. At some point, you have to release the excess. So I just invite us into imagining a world where all our ecosystems, all the ways we interact in this world are one in which we receive enough from the universe and we give back the excess, and we don't hoard, and we don't grasp, because somehow we trust and know there will always be enough. And what would happen if this was the world we actually lived into and created? Because we can. And I know it's hard in this capitalist society that we live in, where there aren't safety nets, where actually we often don't have enough, or many people actually don't have enough. But the truth is, if we all lived into this world, including those with excessive wealth and resources who are hoarding, who have more than they could ever use in this lifetime and many future lifetimes, if we actually lived into this model like we experience every moment with breath, then we could create a world where actually there always was enough, and where everyone felt there was enough, and where everyone experienced being enough. I mean, let's just imagine it for a moment with love, that we take in the love that we receive from the people who do love us. So we're not grasping to receive the love from the people who don't give us the love we're wanting and yearning for, but we receive enough love. We take it in and we hold it in our hearts until our hearts feel so full that they burst, and we give love back. And again, we take it in and we fill it up. So we're so full with love that we burst like the vessels breaking, like in the Kabbalistic teaching about the divine filling up the vessels with so much light that they broke and shattered, and that we're all sparks of that divine in the world, seeking reconnection into our oneness. And imagine that that's how you take in love. It fills you up so much that you breathe it out. You give out the love, and then you receive it back. So I offer you this meditative prayer, this meditation, I guess it's also a prayer. I have been out walking this morning with my beloved dog Dodie, doing my morning prayers in the rain, in the woods, with streams, a rather large stream waterfall that you've probably heard. And this came to me just intuitively, and I just thought, I'm going to record this, and maybe someone else will appreciate it, because I was enjoying it. It was really grounding me in a very beautiful practice. So I hope that this little meditative practice nourishes you and you return to it whenever you're needing or wanting to feel that I am enough, you are enough, and there is enough, and you are part of the unity of all being, a manifestation of God's love on earth. Blessings and love.